Welcome to the Redflex.
Boom.
Make sure we're going to explain why we have.
Who the heck is this guy?
Why we have the Liverpool colours on the Redflex. When the Redflex was born, we made an oath. We made an oath that no Liverpool merchandise, no Liverpool colours, no Liverpool fan would ever make it on the Redflex. However, that has now that is no more. That is no more. Liverpool versus Manchester United on Sunday. What's going to be a massive game. Hopefully, Manchester United can get the 3 points. Just before we introduce that man in the Liverpool shirt,
man.
if you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the Redflex. Let's get straight into the video. We're going to be covering Liverpool versus Man United, the rivalry, and there's so many iconic moments over the years. Hopefully, we're going to discuss some of them today. But Dan, introduce yourself. I can tell that you're a Liverpool fan.
Don't introduce this guy first. Introduce me. Think about me first.
Secondary people, mate. Come on.
We're a Redflex global community. It's a global community. We've got to.
Respect. You're talking about the respect that you're giving me, and now you skip past me.
No, dude, you're going to get your opportunity, but I thought as the Redflex, representing the Redflex, you've got to be corporate.
You're the head of the show. You don't need to explain yourself. Soom, shut your mouth.
Wow.
Oh, wow. A Redflex exclusive there. Dan, introduce yourself. Tell us a little about yourself.
All right, everyone. Dan, obviously, Liverpool fan on this this program right here. I won't mention it. But anyway, been a Liverpool fan since 2002, right after
not that long then.
Right after the Liverpool United final, actually 2003 United final in the League Cup when we beat United, and it was actually my stepdad that convinced me to be a Liverpool fan.
Okay, I've got. We're going to come to you shortly. I know you've been disrespected.
Wow.
I'll make it up somehow. But I just want Dan to explain in so many words. Obviously, he's a Liverpool fan. Just to get a Liverpool perspective, can you explain to me Liverpool versus Man United, the rivalry? What does that mean to you? Tell me what that means to you.
Well, put it this way. Liverpool versus Everton is secondary for me personally compared to Liverpool versus Man United. It's just on a whole nother level. Although, the Merseyside derby is a big thing. The Northwest derby, everyone knows that as United versus Liverpool, Liverpool versus United. And that's the way it's going to be, regardless of City coming up or whatever. And it's just, I hate United. I hate them. Now, I'm not even like, I despise the club. I despise the players. Obviously, my friend over here, Soom, you, a United fan, unfortunately. But it is what it is. Sometimes you got to live with the bad things, don't you?
Okay. I mean, I'm very curious to understand who out of the United players right now do you hate the most?
Bruno.
As a football fan, I rate Bruno.
We don't care about your football fan. We care about your Liverpool.
And I probably hate him more because he's for United. He plays for United.
Okay, fair enough.
I think who I really hate would be how overrated that fridge in your defenses.
The world's most expensive defender, the leader, the main event, England's greatest centre-back.
B-Tech defender, mate.
You went straight after our captain, mate.
You went straight after our captain, but that's what we expect. But obviously, this is not a channel where, you're going to start seeing us swearing at each other. We're going to start ranting at each other. We've got to keep this PG.
No,
from the looks of it, I'm going to have to get a control of Soom. He's coming all firing guns.
100%.
So I'm going to go straight to you, Soom. Why don't you tell us Liverpool versus Man United rivalry? You tell me what that means to you.
Like, the Merseyside derby is secondary to Dan. The Liverpool United derby is secondary to me. United versus Leeds is more important than United versus Liverpool. Forget Liverpool. Who the heck on Liverpool? Who the heck on it? Look at him. Look at this guy with this fake Bobby made in China top on him. And
Oh, wow.
Where's your top, mate?
Listen, my top's over here, man. I'm going to wear it. I'm going to wear it during the game when it should be worn, not during a before show about the rivalry and all that. Nah, you're not even worthy of me wearing my football top, man. That's how.
So represent your teammate. Represent your team.
I represent the sponsor, Adidas, man, at the moment.
I wasn't aware that the Redflex is being sponsored by Adidas. It's news to myself. We'll take that. We'll take that. Out of curiosity as well, how do you two know each other then? Just for the millions and millions of fans that are watching across the globe.
One day he was walking down the street. I saw someone crying in the corner. It was like when Liverpool almost won the title, but they didn't.
We started working together.
All right, let's go.
Soom looked a bit lonely, so I came up to him and started.
Oh, right. Is this the story? Is this the story? This guy, Capita, ex-Capita.
All right, today's video. Before we, if you want to see more of Soom K versus Dan going head to head, battling, maybe we can get a separate video going for that. But today's video is focused on the most iconic moments between Liverpool and Man United. So let's get straight into the video. First one, Man United won this game, so that's the most important thing. Secondly, I thought I'd start with that. It's synonymous around the world for Juan Mata's absolutely fantastic overhead kick, probably one of the greatest goals known to man, woman, or child that there's ever been. The game finished Liverpool 1, Man United 2. It's also known for probably one of the quickest red cards that we've ever seen in a Liverpool Man United game, maybe the quickest red card. I believe Steven Gerrard came on at halftime. Brendan Rodgers wanted to change the game, and he changed the game definitely, because within 1 minute he had nearly ended Ander Herrera's career, and he took the red card. Dan, I'll come to you first. What's your memories of that game?
Which one? The red card?
Yeah, Gerrard comes on literally within a minute. Tries to end Herrera's career. It was a criminal offence.
Not even a minute. You made Gerrard the intention, but who knows? You're gonna have to speak to him about that. I wouldn't be surprised anyway. But regardless, that's one of the games that is at the back of my mind. So
have you erased it from your memory?
Yeah. One of them ones. But I remember Gerrard coming on. I think, how long did he last? Seconds, I think it was.
I think it was. I tried to round it up to the nearest minute, so I said a minute.
1 minute, yeah.
Half a minute.
Yeah, that's one to forget, that one.
Okay, Sooms, what's your thoughts? What's your memories of that? I think Van Gaal was in charge, and it was probably the best start that I've seen Man United in terms of performance at Anfield. It was, you could call it a masterclass. It was a dominating performance, especially in the first half. Sorry, Dan, I saw the little wince on your face, but it was great passing football. Maybe something out of the Barcelona textbook, from what I remember. What a great goal, though, Sooms. Wow.
Definitely, man. I remember saying, like, it was 1-1. It was like, nail biting. Like, we need to get this win in and all that. Obviously, Gerrard's got sent off at the start of the second half. You're like, buzzing, that's it, man. This is they're here for the taking. And then when the goal
that game without a red card, though, come on.
Excuse me, can you please not put up when the real talking?
But it's not the only time Steven Gerrard has messed up, is it, Dan?
Go on.
Chelsea. I said it's not the only time he's messed up.
We're focusing on Liverpool versus United here. Why are you
is it? Oh, sorry, yeah. I forgot about the contents of the video.
You want to talk about when Liverpool, when Gerrard scored 2 penalties, or when Liverpool?
I do remember that game.
I wonder if
we are going to be discussing that. We are going to be discussing
penalties today.
We are going to be discussing that, unfortunately, later on in the show. We'll move on to something that I think all Liverpool fans, all Man United fans, they have an opinion on the matter. And considering that we've got a Liverpool fan on the show, it makes sense to go to Dan first.
Just to clarify, not a real diehard Liverpool fan from established in 2002. He's not even hit the 20-year mark yet of a Liverpool fan.
He's putting. What would you? Before you answer my question, Dan, Soom has put a very massive accusation on your head here, saying that you're not a proper Liverpool fan. What would you say in response to that?
Whenever I talk about football with Soom, he just comes out with the first thing that's, coming out of his mind, and most of the time that's absolute bull. I don't need to say much to Soom because I talk facts. He talks what's in his mind.
So in other words, what you're saying is you think about what you say. Soom doesn't think about what he says, and what he says is not factual. Is that what you're saying?
100%.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think if you know Soom well enough, you'll know he just says how it is.
Soom's a passionate guy. He's outspoken, so I respect that. But Soom's, I'll let you respond shortly. I want to know about
name that first 11 without looking on his phone.
What's that? Sorry.
Let's see if Soom can name your starting 11 without looking on his phone.
What is this in the last game?
Yeah, let's go for the last game.
Last game.
Soom's over to you. Over to you.
This is is this the
He's
Watford game?
already lost. He's already lost.
Watford game. Is this the Watford game?
He's talking about the Watford game, Soos.
Okay, let's go. Look, I'm going to hold my phone to you, man. Look, the phone's here, yeah. Dean Henderson in net.
That's correct.
Tuanzebe, centre-back. Eric Bailly, centre-back. Now here, this is where I struggle. I'm joking. Bradley Williams, right back.
That's correct.
Who else? Alex Telles. Was he left back or was he left mid?
Yes, he was left back.
He was left back. In defensive mid, was it Scott McTominay, captain?
The great Scott himself.
Was another one? Was Fred playing?
Fred unfortunately was not playing.
No,
unfortunately.
Okay, then it was Jesse Lingard, of course, in midfield. Obviously, we had Daniel James on there, did we?
Unfortunately, we did.
Also, we had who else did we have? Oh wait, who did we have? Greenwood, Mason Greenwood. We have Mason Greenwood.
I think to be fair, Sooms has got the majority. He's got 10 out of the 11 correct.
Wait.
We'll give him that.
Yeah, we're not done yet. There's also one more player that I haven't mentioned yet, and he deserves a lot of game time, and that is Donny van der Beek.
There we go. He has silenced the critics. The critics have been silenced on the Redflex. And if you want to carry on seeing Sumi or Soom K answering those critics, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe and share. Give everybody the opportunity to realize that the Redflex global community is on the way up.
My apology, please. My apology. I deserve an apology.
I think that's directed to you, then.
For me?
Accusations being made. Accusations are being made.
Why do you need
I think we should move on. This is going to rumble on and on and on. So the next topic that I'm going to discuss, Michael Owen, a Manchester United legend, also played for Liverpool. The day that he signed for Man United, what was your initial thoughts? And do you remember where you were? Could you tell us a story? What you felt? What you thought? What you said to your friends?
What year was that? What year was it?
I think it's a very good question. It's not something I've made a note of in my notes. However, I believe it was 2010, 2011.
2010. Okay, yeah. So, I know when I heard it, at first I thought it was a joke. I'm not going to lie. I thought it was a joke because he was a Liverpool legend. Emphasis on the was.
Is he still a legend of Liverpool? No?
Huh?
Is he still a Liverpool legend?
Not in my books.
No.
So
is it almost as bad? Is it almost as bad if Gerrard joined United, or is Gerrard in another level?
Gerrard, that's unthinkable. Just the unthinkable. I just can't even talk about it because I can't imagine it in my head. The guy hates United himself.
I'm sure he was a United fan, but maybe that's maybe the Redflex sources have been, the wires have been crossed a little bit. But maybe we could discuss that later. But go on, sorry.
When I heard the news that he joined United, I was actually like laughing to myself because I thought it was a joke. And when it came to sense, I was fuming because, you know, he was after Gerrard, he was a player that I looked up to, playing for Liverpool and England as well. You know, I got his name on my England top and all that. And then, I was fuming. And ever since then, he scored also against Liverpool, and I think he celebrated. Obviously you can imagine
he did the unthinkable.
Yeah, obviously you can imagine me, and I don't know. I'm probably speaking on behalf of every Liverpool fan. When that goal went in and he started celebrating, I was screaming at him. If he could hear me, oh my God, he would be like, "What the hell?" But yeah, ever since then, you know, he's retired, and now he's become a Liverpool ambassador as well. The club took him on as an ambassador, and I don't think many people really agree with that decision, and that's just because he joined United. And to be fair, I wouldn't miss him if he left Liverpool, because just because of that situation.
That's very interesting to see, you know, what the Liverpool kind of fans believe. You know, Orton. I think I watched a wrestling video before coming on. Michael Owen. Michael Owen. We're talking about Michael Owen. RKO. It's interesting to hear Liverpool kind of perspective on of Owen joining United. Sooms, I'm going to come to you. Did Michael Owen become a legend as soon as he scored in the last minute against Man City?
Of course.
Would you say that's a fair point?
Of course, yeah. That's all he did. That's all he was needed for. That's all he was needed for.
To be fair, he was injured for a lot of the time that he was with United. But I think he did well. I think we got him on a free transfer.
A bigger club.
He did. It was the pinnacle of his career. I believe he's been quoted.
I was watching a documentary about Michael Owen, you know, an interview with Michael Owen, and he was saying that once he left Liverpool for Real Madrid, he pretty much regretted the decision instantly because of, you know, game time and such like that. Even though he has like the best goal to game ratio for Real Madrid, he hardly got a game for them. So I think his career pretty much went down over there from leaving Liverpool.
I think it was before then when he did his
I know when he wanted to leave Real Madrid, he wanted to come back to Liverpool, and that time Benitez was the manager. So I think he had, you know, his agent and himself were like in negotiation, but like the wages and I think the fee that Madrid wanted and that he wanted were just too high for us to pay back then. So we weren't willing to accept that at that moment. So that's why he joined Newcastle, and then hoping to join Liverpool from Newcastle, but that just went out the window. And I guess the only option he had was United, but he should have just retired.
Wow.
You would say that. However, he got to work with one of the greatest managers of all time. He got to play at one of the greatest stadiums of all time, the biggest Premier League club in England, and if not the world. So you could argue, if I play devil's advocate,
maybe back then, not anymore.
Oh, we're gonna get onto that, Dan, very shortly. Very shortly, we'll get onto that. Next one that I want to bring up is a very dark time in the United period, and it's probably still, maybe we're coming out of that period a little bit now. However, Brendan Rodgers brought his Liverpool side to Old Trafford. A familiar face in the United dugout, Mr. David Moyes, was in charge. And unfortunately, it was a comfortable, humiliating 3-0 defeat at Old Trafford. And I think this is what you were mentioning before about the 2 penalties.
And
I believe
one as well for a hat.
if I share something with you,
missed one.
when I watched that game, it was a game after a long time where I felt that Liverpool were clearly, better than us, and that pains me to say it. And we didn't look like, taking anything from that game. We were dominated from the first minute to the last. Dan, was that something? Obviously, as a Liverpool fan, you're not used to, being the better team. How did you feel with, after that victory? Because I think it's probably the first time you came to Old Trafford. I know there's been other wins, but in terms of the comfortable and how one-sided it was.
Yeah, well, first of all, just regarding, something that you just said, form for me goes out the window when it's like a derby or as big as a game as Liverpool versus United. Like, United are pretty much in the worst form of their life at the moment. I know you guys are winning, but in terms of the all-round, you guys are doing probably the worst in a very long time. But regardless, if you were losing 10 games in a row coming up to this Liverpool game, it would just go out the window. And it's like a completely different, atmosphere between the two teams when they play each other. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I would agree with that, because it's similar to like the major rivalries in the world. The same rules don't apply in terms of what's happened previously. The game is so big, it's filled with history, it's filled with so many, massive moments that you can feel like the players are wearing the shirt and they're wearing the badge. Those are the games where it's a shame that there's no crowd, because I feel like if there was a crowd at Anfield for this game on Sunday, that place will be rocking and it will be, must see. And it's a shame. It is a massive shame. Soom,
but talking about that game, I was absolutely buzzing because obviously Steve G got his 2 pens, and I was a bit gutted that he missed his hat-trick opportunity with that third penalty. But regardless,
would it have been a hat-trick or penalty? Sorry.
Yeah, it would have.
A hat-trick or penalties would have been.
Yeah, that's how awful you lot were back then. But anyway, getting a victory at Old Trafford, you've got to take it in, and you've got to celebrate big, regardless of the rivalry and stuff. Like you said, and speaking as a football fan, it is a massive club, the second best club in England.
Liverpool, that is.
Big stadium.
Yeah, definitely Liverpool. Maybe second. Maybe second.
Up there.
No, I would agree with it in terms of the hype. There isn't many games that are going to get the hype that this game is going to get. And talking about hype for the Liverpool Man United game, if you want the hype for the Liverpool Man United game, the Redflex is the only place to be. We've got so much content coming out in the build-up to what is the biggest game of the season. If you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thought I'd throw that one in there. Sooms, I want to come to you and ask you as well, something that Dan's just said, obviously in terms of the importance of the game and obviously keeping it in line with the theme of today's video. So firstly, do you remember the 3-0 defeat, the one that we're talking about, what your thoughts were, and obviously the importance of the rivalry as well?
Obviously, of course, I remember the 3-0 defeat, man. It was start of the dark days, obviously, the many of years that have been happening. But hopefully, we're seeing the light of the tunnel right now. But yeah, I remember that. It's funny because looking back, I'm thinking about, I wonder what Klopp would say about those penalties that were awarded to Liverpool. 3 in one game. He talks about penalties going against him. Obviously, the amount of penalties that United are getting recently. I wonder if he would say anything about those.
He doesn't talk about penalties going against him. He talks about the VAR going against him.
Dan, actually, I've got a question for you while we're on the topic. So obviously, Liverpool drew against Newcastle, drew against West Brom, lost against Southampton.
Yeah,
from a Liverpool perspective, and this is just because I'm curious to know, why did you think Klopp felt it was necessary to make the comment that he did in relation to the United penalties? It seemed a little bit strange. From a Liverpool fan, can you explain what the Liverpool fans' thoughts are on that?
Well, I think not from even like a Liverpool fan, but from the rest of the fans in the Premier League. How many since I think last January, how many pens have you guys had?
I think it's about 33.
Doesn't
I think
matter.
it's 33 in about
Doesn't matter.
58 games
What's the
since
nearest,
start of last
what's the
season.
nearest team to you guys?
It just shows that we get fouled a lot.
I think
And
this
we've been-
season Leicester
we've
may
been
have had more
speaking the
penalties.
truth for years.
What's
Sorry,
that, Sam?
What was that?
What did you say?
I said we've been getting fouled a lot in the box, and it just VR proves that people are fouling us in the box.
You haven't, in my opinion, you haven't been getting fouled that much in the box as easily as you're going down. And say for instance, the biggest recent talking point was Pogba.
Yeah.
Can I ask if you guys seriously think that was a penalty, or did he just trip himself up?
Based on the penalties that have been given for similar scenarios, I would say yes, it was a penalty. But if I was the opposition, then yeah, I'd be a little bit disappointed. But just a little bit about the United penalties. We have players that are quick. We have players that are good at dribbling. So what might appear as a minimal touch or a little bit of a touch, if somebody's running at full pelt, a little touch is enough, for a penalty. Would you agree?
Okay. I'm going to stop you right there because you've made a really good point about little touches in the box. Liverpool have the quickest players up front in the Premier League, hands down, Mo Salah and Mane. But
that's not true though.
If they go down with a little touch, they get absolutely insulted by everyone in the league.
But that's because Mane is a diver.
Why would you say that?
Because there's been countless times where these similar scenarios where I think it's been a little bit soft.
A little touch.
It's been a little bit soft, a little softer than what is necessary for a penalty.
You're being hypocritical right now.
But saying that though, Liverpool, you finished second with, I believe, 99 points. You then won the Champions League. You're now still top of the table, yet you've got issues with penalties. It doesn't really add up because you've done everything that you've wanted to do as a club.
Well,
so why is penalties an issue now?
It's not even about pens. He's talking about the VAR decisions that are going against us.
Do you think there's something going against Liverpool then? Do you think there's an agenda against Liverpool?
Well, I don't think there's an agenda, but there's definitely.
There's always been an agenda against United, and we're just proving people wrong.
United have this influence on referees that they've always had, and it's not like the players or anything like that, but it's the presence of United that the referees give penalties and whatever decisions, free kicks, and all that towards United. I think there is a bias.
Do you think that influence is still there then?
100%, yeah. Just because it's Man United.
I disagree. Absolutely disagree.
Yeah, well, of course you're going to disagree because you're a United fan.
Wow. No, I think...
Why do you disagree? Why do you disagree?
No football team controls the referees at the end of the day. There are certain decisions, even in today's sport, the referees have not even gone to VAR or even used, and they have used VAR, and they're still getting it wrong. I think it's just basically...
They are still getting it wrong.
What?
They are still getting it wrong.
Yeah, they are. I admit that.
And a lot of those decisions that they get wrong are against Liverpool. You can statistically actually check that out. The biggest one was the Van Dijk situation.
Nah,
that's not
false. No, I understand. I understand. We're going about that.
One sec. Let me speak, because factually, Mike Oliver, the referee who was in charge of that game, actually said that Pickford should have been sent off. Yeah. He actually came out in the interview and said that Pickford should have been sent off.
Yeah, maybe, but at the end of,
so then you can't say no, and then say, yeah, maybe.
No. Let me finish. Please let me finish. Please let me finish.
Train of thought. You can't just change in between.
No, I'm not changing my point. If you let me finish, I can explain my point. It was off the ball. It wasn't during gameplay. I understand that if it was during gameplay, that's a red card straight away, 100%.
Okay.
But it was offside prior to that.
So what about the actual referee coming out in an interview saying it should have been a red card?
Well, it should be a red card if it was in gameplay, but it's not. No, it wasn't.
He said he made a mistake and it should have been a red card. So you're saying the referee who refereed that game made a mistake but didn't make a mistake.
Was it intentional? Was it malice?
Ask the referee what he thinks.
No, I'm asking you. I'm asking you. Was it intentional? Was it malice?
How am I meant to know that?
Was it unsportsmanlike conduct?
Yeah.
What, intentional? Intentional.
Well, it doesn't have to be unintentional.
No, it wasn't It does have to be intentional if it's unsportsmanlike conduct.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
You can get a red card for an accident.
Yeah, but that's during gameplay.
It doesn't matter, Sam. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, you're nah. It's not a red card.
I think you had it.
Let's agree to disagree on this one. Yeah, the Van Dijk injury was very unfortunate, but a team of Liverpool size, a team of Man United size, whenever a big team complains about injuries, I have to take it with a pinch of salt, because that's why you're a big team. That's why we've got the budgets. That's why, you're there to prepare for the whole season. But don't get me wrong, you take the best player out of any team in the Premier League, that team is going to struggle. So I think it's more the fact that Klopp is frustrated that he's not got his best players, rather than the fact that there's something going on with the referees.
Yeah, definitely.
Fair enough, but I definitely agree that he's not talking about pens as much as he's talking about VAR, which I completely agree with him. And it's not just Van Dijk that's out for Liverpool, is it?
I mean, okay, it's another interesting thing that you've mentioned. Let me go through your starting lineup. Salah, Mane, Firmino, they're all fit, right? Yeah?
Yeah.
They're your front three.
The whole team is fit now, apart from our whole centre backs.
So you got Gomez and you got Van Dijk out. Is that right?
We got Gomez, Matip, Van Dijk out. There are three centre backs.
Matip is always injured, so let's take him out. So
yeah, but
he's always injured.
He's a centre back, regardless.
No, but he's always injured. He's always injured.
He's always injured.
Yeah, no,
he is. He's always injured.
Yeah.
So Van Dijk and Gomez, yeah. But do you not think then it would be fair for some, not as a United fan, this is just general, that Liverpool, Champions League winners, current reigning, defending Premier League champions, should they not have a bigger squad? Should they not have a bigger squad to cope with that?
How many centre backs are you supposed to sign?
5.
To have a decent side squad.
Well,
5.
Obviously, you got Fabinho that can do a job for you. He's very, accomplished centre back.
And he's doing a solid job.
Who else have you got? Phillips, I've seen him recently, and I look forward to him playing. If there's any one player that I want to see playing on Sunday,
I like Nat Phillips. I like Nat Phillips.
You think he's good? You think he's a good centre back?
I think the thing I like about Nat Phillips is that he's a classic centre back. He doesn't like to get. Okay. He's not afraid to get stuck in a challenge.
To be fair, though, I haven't seen much of Liverpool's games. The only game that I seen was the Newcastle game, and I thought Phillips made Phil Jones look accomplished in that game. But we'll move on to the last section, because I sense there's a little bit of frostiness between us at the moment.
Soom a whole different type of show right now, to be fair. We're just talking about
let's go let's try stick to the show. Last one, I think, Dan, you mentioned off air that you don't really remember this one, but I'll try and remind you if we can. I believe it was 2006, Man United versus Liverpool. In the last minute, Rio Ferdinand scored a late goal. I believe it was a half volley or even a volley that he scored from a corner. But all the headlines were Gary Neville, who initially couldn't find the badge to his shirt, but eventually did, and then kissed the badge. And obviously that image went all over the world. During that year, I think obviously it's early. I think it was a time where you didn't support Liverpool.
It was like 4 years in. It was only 4 years in. It wasn't that long.
I'm trying to think. Who was the manager? Was it Roy Evans?
I don't remember that.
What's your thoughts on Gary Neville, by the way, Dan?
As a footballer?
Just your general feeling on Gary Neville.
I love him as a pundit. Him and
I think he's a great
man.
Oh, I think we've got some interruption here by a live 3-year-old son who's going to run in and ruin the video.
We love the chemistry of
Redflex as well. You want to be part of the Redflex global community. Okay, that's dealt with.
No, but
Dan, sorry, what were we saying?
I love him as a pundit. I think he's absolutely hilarious. You know, I follow him on all social media platforms, and the stuff that him and Carragher come out with, the banter, is absolutely insane. And to be fair, as a commentator as well.
Yeah.
From a Liverpool perspective, what's your thoughts on the bromance, you could call it, between Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville?
Oh, I support it.
It's something I never thought I'd ever see.
100%, I support it.
Because just sitting and hearing them two all day, man. Just listen to that story.
Yeah. Sooms, what did you watch that game? Did you see the image of Neville? What were your thoughts of it? The passion, you know, the love for Manchester United.
It's exactly what I want to see in every single player United having today, tomorrow, and in the future. They don't have the passion that Neville showed in that game. At the end of that game. And don't forget, Rooney also did it after Neville in the same game, yeah. There's the image of Rooney doing it as well. Like kissing the camera, going straight to the camera, showing his celebration, his love for getting one over Liverpool. If you don't have that desire to play for any football club that you play for, you're not fit to wear the shirt, I think, man. You know what I mean?
No, I would agree with that. I think there's a lack of those kind of characters, especially in football now. But just before we wrap up this video, I can probably say it's probably going to be the most controversial video that we've had on the Redflex. But I want to we're obviously going to have more match previews and more hype for the Liverpool game. But very quickly, I'm going to come to you, Dan, first. Approximately around 6 o'clock on Sunday, the full-time whistle is going to go at Anfield.
3-1.
What is the score? 3-1 Liverpool.
Make a bet on that.
You want people to put a bet on that, yeah?
Do it. Mo Salah.
Mo Salah hat-trick, was that? Did you say?
Oh, I would love that. Mo Salah.
I'm sure Mo Salah hasn't actually scored a goal against Man United in his career as a Liverpool player. No, he hasn't.
Are you sure about that?
I'm sure.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
I don't think you're sure.
I'm 100% sure.
Sam, do you think he's sure? Sam?
What?
Do you think he's sure?
Yeah, I think he's 100% sure. I'm sure.
What about when?
Oh no! Yes. Old Trafford. Sorry, Old Trafford. He's done that. I remember. It was similar to you, Dan. You know the games like you erased from your memory. I think one of them happened.
Don't worry, mate. I'll remind you.
But he hasn't scored at Old Trafford, and similar to Jurgen Klopp, who's never won at Old Trafford as well. So obviously that's something to look forward to. What's that? Sorry.
Where's the game tomorrow?
The game is at Anfield.
Oh, then don't worry about it.
No, I just thought, in case you were wondering, I thought I'd just share that.
Don't worry about that stat.
But a week later, you were taking a trip down to Manchester.
In your Little Cup.
In the FA Cup.
Okay, so we've got the score predictions. And that pretty much wraps up going through a little bit down memory lane. Sorry, go on.
Can I just ask a question before we go?
Yeah.
How did you guys feel when that Mo Salah goal went in and he took his top off, celebrated in front of the Kop, and that's when everyone in the league knew that Liverpool was pretty much finished for the league top? What was your reaction?
First of all, I was disappointed.
I don't remember.
Should have been a yellow card. I don't know if he got yellow carded or not for taking his shirt off. I'm not sure. So I was disappointed that didn't happen. Overall, I thought Man United played well. I'm not going to say that they deserve to win, but we played a lot better than we have at Anfield recently. In regards to the Premier League, yes, Liverpool have won the Premier League. I thought it would never happen in my lifetime.
Did you feel any more bitter that that was pretty much the game that secured it? And if you remember, the fans were pretty much quiet. You know, like in the previous seasons, the fans have been shouting, "Nah, you're going to believe us," and all that. But we were unsuccessful in the league. But after that United game, Anfield erupted with that. No, you're going to.
Should I tell you why, Dan? Should I tell you why?
And it was
tell you why.
That United game. What did that?
I'll
make
tell you why. The reason why that is because no team in the Premier League can be validated until they beat the best. So when you beat the best, it's always a reason to be joyful, which is why you guys were joyful. You absolutely deserve the Premier League. You deserved it.
That's why we beat Man City as well.
No, you did beat Man City. You did beat Man City. You beat Chelsea, I think, as well. You were the best team. You were the best team, and you deserve the Premier League. You deserve to win the Premier League the season before, but you're going to get beat on Sunday, and you're going to get beat in the FA Cup. And I need a vow from you, Dan. When that happens, you're going to pay on the Redflex. I'm
so quiet right now.
I don't need to say anything. That's why. All I know, your answers getting whooped on the weekend. Your answers getting.
I've given you my response. I've given you my response.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
What do you want to know? Go on.
I asked you 2 questions. What was it like?
I don't remember the game.
That game was the one.
I took it out of my memory.
Sealed the title. And how did you feel?
I'm on about current times. I don't care about the past.
Sam, let me ask the question. Just answer it. And how did you feel when it was Mo Salah right at the end? Smashed it. Dan James could not get a finger on Mo Salah, and he was trying to grab him and everything. And then Mo Salah megs De Gea to secure the win.
I don't actually remember the game, to be fair. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But obviously,
he's not joking, folks.
I'm not joking. I don't remember. but as you have clearly just told me the scenario, I would have been gutted. I would have been heartbroken. I would have been for damn. And why has United lost this game? Obviously, I'm like.
Do you want me to recreate the goal for you? I can if you want me to.
What?
Yeah, go on.
Alisson had the ball. Yeah, we're on the counter. Mo Salah's still on our side, so he's onside. Big long ass kick from Alisson right in front of Mo Salah. Mo Salah carries it from our half, right at the end of our half, to yours. Dan James is right up against him, shoulder to shoulder, trying to grab his shirt and all sorts. Mo Salah's just brushing him off, and Mo Salah just calmly just slots it between De Gea's legs into the goal.
It is what it is, man. You win some, you lose some.
You've been losing football, lady, haven't you?
It's the beauty of football.
You'll be losing on the weekend, don't worry.
Sunday.
Bring it on. Come on,
Manchester United. The biggest game of the season. Make sure you tune into the Redflex. If you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Soom, Dan, it's been an absolute pleasure discussing some of the most iconic moments and discussing how important this rivalry is. Dan, are we going to get you for a match reaction?
Yeah,
are you going to be?
Let's discuss. Win or lose, let's talk about it.
Win or lose or draw.
Remember that losing point, yeah.
Dan will be on the Redflex. Soom, we will see you again. We've got a couple of things that we're going to be doing. But until then, everyone, thanks for joining in. We've got part 2 coming up as well. Make sure you stick around for that. Until then, stay safe and we'll see you soon again. Thanks.
Never walk alone.
What?
I'd rather.
What? What?
Come
Let's
on.
go marching on that.